thought we was going to do that last.
I don't know. Well, we're going to eat last.
Well,
Yeah, this is the service and everything. We're doing the military service at 11:30, and then we're eating
okay,
after.
okay. Yeah, I want to do the introduction right
Yeah,
now.
that's the service. Have everybody's attention.
Do you hear me? Before everybody goes talking again. I like to say while I'm thinking of it, I know we got a lot of Woodards here. Excuse me for not talking real loud, but my voice is kind of weaning on me. We got a lot of Woodard related to the Hayes, obviously, and they are going to be there. We have a flag that Benjamin Woodard died under here, and it will be, of course, it's a picture. It's in Atlanta, Georgia, and they will be displaying that. We didn't know whether Marcia Perkins Woodard would be here or not. We was going to give her an award on this thing, but we do have some Woodard paraphernalia, and I'm sure they'll be showing it at the Woodard family reunion, but also, since there's so many Woodards related, we do have that information, and you can see the guy in black back there. He can really inform you on it. Welcome, please. Welcome to the west side of the Wahoo Swamp. This is the first time in history that we have had the Hayes reunion on the west side of the swamp. You're right smack dab in the middle of where Robert Hayes moved here in 1847, and this is where the home place is. It started all of the Hayeses that are in Webster, or actually we're all in Central Florida, from Dunellen, the Hayeses and Dunellen. All of them came in on 2 buckboard wagons, and this is the birthplace of all your, probably most of you, your great, and some of you, your great-great-grandfathers. And so we thank everybody being here to the Hayes reunion and friends, and we'll get started this time. Like I say, I want to return you in mind to 1847. Now, in 1847, I think Lynn and Uncle Clifford said it might have been in November or December of 1847, they came to Homestead, 160 acres, 1/2 mile west of here. And I wish these windows, Wayne, would you open one of those windows? I'm going to be showing some stuff here. Everybody else, just, if y'all can, open that windows on the west side. Let the sun shine in bad. He came here, like I say, in 1847. He had a map. He was going to homestead this property because of his military record. He's getting 160 acres. This map, I'm sure, only showed 2 names on it, and those 2 names were Indian names. The one name said Wahoo Swamp, the U.S. military picture. The other name was La Hoochie River, an Indian name meaning winding waters. That's the only thing he had to go by, but the U.S. military had some section lines in here. So he knew, let's define, Wahoo Swamp starts, the south end of it starts right here. When if most of you came from the east, you cross what we call the Gum Slough Bridge. That's the south end of the Wahoo Swamp, and it runs all the way, actually, to the north end of the Rutland Island Flats, which is Highway 44 between Wildwood and Inverness. It's a great swamp. There's one road that goes through the middle of the Wahoo Swamp, and all you got to do is cross a creek that we call Battle Slough, and that's Highway 48 that runs from Bushnell to Coral City. Strangely enough, to this day, that's still the only 3 roads that goes through the Wahoo Swamp. And the Indians were using it thousands of years ago when they occupied this property, these properties in here. Okay, go with me now, because in 1847, you're not sitting here because there was no Indian Hill Baptist Church Fellowship Hall. There was no Indian Hill Cemetery. So, excuse me, we're going to be out there under that yellow pine tree, yellow heart pine tree. We're standing under that, just you and me. And we hear axes chopping at the end, south end of the swamp. And they're coming through the woods, coming our way. We're standing right out there. And I don't know if those of you that can see out the window, it's being hard to see it. There's a block of woods down there that is a 10-acre block of woods. When you leave here, if you go back that way, before you cross the bridge, look to this side and you'll see a gate and an old roadway going out through that 10-acre block of woods. Robert Hayes and his sons built that road. Trust me, Suffolk County Road Department didn't build it because there was no Suffolk County Road Department. If you wanted a road to your homestead, you build it. We're under that pine tree. Everybody still with me? And we hear the axes chopping. They're removing small brush and small trees as they come this way. We walk down, just down the edge of the hill here, and we confront this gentleman. We say, "What is your name, sir?" He says, "My name is Robert Hayes. I'm going to homestead 160 acres, 1/2 mile west of here." And he sold his property in southern Alabama, and he came here to occupy this property that was rightfully his through the military actions that he had taken. He said, "This is my oldest son. His name is George Franklin Hayes. He is 16 years old." By a show of hands here, how many people are related to George Franklin Hayes? We call him the Webster Hayes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got at least 7 or 8. We got. Thank you very much for coming. This is George Franklin Hayes that we always title Webster Hayes. Okay. He said this other son is William Jefferson Hayes, and he is 13 years old. How many relatives do we have here of William Jefferson Hayes? We call him the Wahoo Hayes because he lived here and died here and was planted here. Okay. He says that the lady on the first buckboard is my wife. Her name is Eliza Lee Hayes. And is Andy Bennett here? Andy Bennett lives in Inverness. He's retired, and he is a surveyor, and he is directly related to Eliza Lee, of all the Lees. He said to remain, okay, then he said on the second buckboard was a black lady and a small child, and he introduced them. He said the remaining 5 children are all under the age of 10, and their names are Laura A. Hayes, Any relatives of Laura? Lucinda Jane. I believe Lucinda was a midwife here in Indian Hill, and she never married. She lived with people when they got older and took care of them. But Lucinda does not have any descendants. Robert W. Hayes. Is that the Dunellen Hayes?
No, that'd be author.
Author, okay. Robert W. Hayes. Eliza J. Hayes. And author Hilliard Hayes, the Dunellen Hayes.
That's Sugar. Uncle Sugar.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, author Hilliard.
It's Uncle Sugar.
Okay, Uncle Sugar Hayes. Okay, there's two other kids that they had after they moved here. In 1849, 2 years later, they had little Ailey Hayes, Ailey L. Hayes. Any of Ailey's family. They were here last year. And also they had, the last but not least was Amanda Hayes, 1852. Okay, sad. Okay, you might say, how do you know that they came through these woods, chopping their way around? Of course, they stayed on at the moisture line of this hill because it's like going around a mountain. You don't come across a sand hill with horses and mules. And Robert Hayes always had a mule. Every time you run across his name or he's fighting in war, he always registered his mule. So he just didn't have horses.
It was done in October anyway.
Yeah. So the way we know that is there is a map back here. 3 years later, in 1850, W.C. McCormick surveyed the stagecoach road through this area. And when he did, Lynn pointed out to me a few years ago that there was a spur of the stagecoach road that came through that 10-acre block of woods, came around the edge of this hill here, and went 1/2 a mile down here to the Hayes homestead. And it did end. Obviously, that's where we figured the Hayes homestead would be. And also, we took all that over there against the wall, we took all of those deeds, and we plotted all of that on a graph to verify section 21, south range, everything. And that's how we kind of halfway knew in the 440 acres about where the homestead would be. And I'll close by telling you a story that happened last summer. These artifacts that we have here, a lot of them, some of them are not from the Hayes homestead, but from that era. But these artifacts are from the Hayes homestead. And it was a hot August day last summer, and the initial trip was made by Dave, my son-in-law, and myself. We went and got permission to go on the property, and we walked down to where we thought roughly, and Lynn and Clifford had talked basically about where it would be. And it was a beautiful, a lot of live oaks, and a wooded area with a little cleared field there. And Dave said, I forgot my pin pointer. He said, I got to go to the truck and get my metal detective pin pointer, and I'll be back. I said, okay. Well, those of you that know me know that I'm a little odd and a little weird. So, I said, I'll be here when you get back. Well, after he had left, I watched him. When he got out of sound of me, I said, Robert Hayes, I am Arthur Hayes. We're here to find your homestead. We want to preserve it. Then it dawned on me he had a son named Arthur Suge Hayes that run the ferry down here before Nobleton had a bridge. I said, I am your great grandson. or I am the great-grandson of William Jefferson. Well, I watched for a breeze or something. I saw nothing. So I took about 10 steps forward, and then I turned down there, a half a mile down there, and I turned straight east, looking straight at this church. Though I couldn't see the church for the woods, but looking straight towards Indian Hill Baptist Church. And I was standing there, and I said, something just told me, look down. Then it told me again, look down. Well, I looked down from my feet, and I saw this beautiful hinge. I said, I've never seen a hinge like that before in my life. I know it's too light duty to be a door hinge. This is the type of hinge that they would have on the shutters of the house, because they would have to close the shutters at night to keep the wild animals out of the house. And of course, they slept under mosquito nets, and they didn't have glass or screen. So this is a window shutting hinge from the Hayes homestead. By then, Dave had come back from the truck, and it was, like I say, it was hot. Dave comes up, I said, Dave, you can put away your ground penetrating radar. I have found it. He comes up to me, sweat dripping off his nose. He gets that close to my nose. He said, Arthur, it's 95 degrees. We got to get serious about this stuff. I said, I am serious. I said, wave your metal detector in front of my feet. Well, he grabbed that metal detector and done like that. And folks, I'm here to tell you, you could have heard that metal detector squealing to this church from half a mile away when it went across this hinge. Dave looked down, and his eyeballs, you could not have put down in one of those big things. They were that large. So we've had a lot of good times finding this stuff and excavating, and please look at his deeds, look at the location of the house. If you'd like to know in relation, that map explains it over there. Look at the paperwork. And I believe now I'm going to turn it over to Dave, and we'll be going out to the cemetery shortly to do a presentation of Robert Hayes. We feel that he probably, in 1868, they probably put him in a pine box and buried him. He probably did not receive any military, even though he fought in 3 wars, Creek, and he ended up fighting in the Seminole War here. So he didn't really fight here, but in order to get this land, he had to keep the Seminoles run off, so I guess you can call that fighting. So Dave, lead us up to going outside.
Okay, everybody outside. I'm Kenny. Sit down. Expert everybody, people. How many of you spell your name H-A-Y-S? Stand up. How many of you spell your name H-A-Y-S? Stand up. A lot of people don't know how to spell your own name.
I looked that up.
Well, that's one of them things you're going to have to talk to Lynn about, but, you know, how that happened, I do not know. Let me just, I'm not going to stay very long up here. We'll run through some things. My boss up in Winona, Minnesota made a donation to Robert William Hayes, and at our company there's a Wounded Warrior Project flag that is flying there. And these are just little keepsakes that are dedicated to Robert William Hayes. You remember the story of Lucinda not shutting the gate? Well, we think that's the actual gate. We've got some artifacts from the Civil War. We got some artifacts from Fort Armstrong. Who are the Woodards? Who is the oldest? All the Woodards stand up.
We got a bunch of
That might not be bad.
Woodard related?
If you're in a connection with Charlie Hayes and Mary Woodard,
Well, if you're in kin to Benjamin Woodard.
Benjamin Woodard.
Hey, Mary.
By Mary. Yeah. Okay. So now, who is the lady over there?
Marcia Perkins.
Do you guys know who Marcia Perkins Woodard is? Who sees her all the time? You do? Okay. Who else You got anybody else that lives just right next to her or anything like that? Or? No? Okay. All right. All right. Well, this is the 60th battle flag. This in December of 1862. Private Benjamin Woodard with the 60th Georgia Infantry was at 2nd Bull Run, Manassas. Burwell was coming down the pike, and Lieutenant General Thomas Stonewall Jackson ordered an attack out of the wood line, of which Benjamin Woodard's battalion the 60th and the 61st went to the Union Center. That day the wind was blowing and the cannonade smoke was really heavy, and before they knew it, they had outrun their lines. And they were caught in a crossfire between the 76th New York and the 7th Wisconsin. That day, 4 soldiers from the Union Army received 3 medals of honor, or 3 soldiers received 3 medals of honor. Robert E. Lee, contrary to public opinion, the Southern Cross of Gallantry was never authorized by General Lee. There were no medals authorized for the Confederate soldiers. He said if your name was on a piece of paper, that was good enough. Anybody think anything unusual about this flag? What do these flags usually look like? They're usually destroyed, right? This was in Wisconsin in a museum until 1905. It was captured. That's why it's in a really good state that it's in. It was returned to the city of Atlanta, Georgia in 1905. And this is the actual flag that he died under. All the officers on that day were killed. And the battlefield report is from Lieutenant General Stonewall Jackson. And I have all this information. So, did you want to come up here? Martha. You could give this to
Marshall.
Yeah, you can give this to her? Sure. Just stand right there. I'm going to make you a hero. Stand right here. Go ahead and hold it. So, on behalf of the Hayes family and the surviving Woodards, I present to you this pin for a Purple Heart for your ancestors being killed in action, 1862, Private Benjamin Woodard. You'll have to look back. We also have with us a 24-star 1836 flag. We were digging down one day, and like a sneaky old gizzard, I found something, and I didn't tell Arthur or John about it because I wanted to see if it was $20 gold pieces, and when I found out it wasn't, well, you know. Anyway, I had these cleaned up. These were Robert William Hayes's. It's an 1853 1 cent and an 1848 1 cent. You need to really look at this. I about did something in my shorts when I saw this. This is an old Snap model 1880. It's kind of funny, and Ranger, this weapon is cleared. So don't anybody pick it up because it's not a cleared weapon until you clear it. But anyway, this was made by the Fitchburg Gunworks and Bicycle Company in 1880. So that's that. Got an 1839 Bible here. And then, if there's anything I want you to remember, it's this. In my research of Robert William Hayes, what I've been able to empirically prove, here's his enlistment card for the 3rd Seminole War. Here's his enlistment card for the 2nd Creek War. If he were deployed today as a combat soldier, he would have gotten a combat infantryman's badge because he fought against the Creeks for 9 months in the United States Army and 3 months as his own damn army. I'm not kidding you. When the Creeks started coming across the Georgia line into Alabama, he just said, hey, he went and got a bunch of buddies and they were out there fighting for 3 months. So he had 1 year in combat. He was infantry. He was a bugler. He led the charge at Hogby's Bridge. I'm awarding him a Bronze Star. He took an arrow to the face. The commanding officer at Hogby's Bridge said that every soldier was wounded that day, and some including 2 times and some including 3 times. He fought Indians from 1836 to 1855, which would have gotten him a Meritorious Service Medal. Because you think there's no war going on, well, who do you think was out there to make sure there was no war going on? Some guy named Robert William Hayes with his little pea-shooter shotgun. He would have gotten an Archon in 1855 in the Third Seminole War when he served. He is awarded 2 Good Conduct Medals because I have him as an honorable discharge, and all these medals are on his tombstone. Now I would ask Ranger Matt, I'd ask all the veterans to stand. I'd ask Uncle Clifford and Julie Hayes to the front and center. Where's Uncle Clifford? Come here, Uncle Clifford. All right, maintain your military bearing here. Go over here, Uncle Clifford. Over. The least ranking goes over here. You got your
Hey, I have ranking.
All right.
I was in E4. What were you?
What rank are you? All right. Room. Have your attention, please. United States of America, to all who shall see these presents greeting. This is to certify that the President of the United States of America, authorized by Executive Order 6 June 2015, has awarded first award, Indian Campaign Medal, to Robert William Hayes posthumously. Remember that salute?
Yes, you know that.
Which sleeve do you want?
The next one will be
Well, let's see if you can beat me down. United States of America, to who also see these presents greeting. This is to certify that the President of the United States of America, authorized by Executive Order 6 June 2015, has awarded the Indian Campaign Medal to Robert William Hayes, second award. Turn around, press that. This is our Navy veteran. So, Uncle Clifford built bombers, runways for B-17s and B-29s. He hopped all over the South Pacific. And if you don't think he's really old, there is no Army Air Corps anymore.
When I went in service in 42, this is what it was called, U.S. Army Air Corps. And while I was in there, they changed and become their own outfit to the Air Force. So when I went in as Army Air Corps, I came out of the Air Force.
All right, I want to ask, how many veterans do we have here? Besides these two, if you're a veteran, go ahead and stand up.
I can't, I got an old flag.
How many we got? I saw somebody already.
He was really curious.
All right, isn't that amazing? We have 6. Come on up here. The Union Jack. Who's going to be my Jack guy? That's going to be Matt. Matt, you're on the Jack, so that's going to go over his left person. Face that way. All right. Now, who's the highest ranking dog here? You're going to be on the pivot side. All right. You look pretty important. You look like a gentleman. All right. The rest of you gentlemen, gather around and just go ahead and grab a place on the flag. We're going. No, I want you on the sides. You got to be on the sides. Okay. Okay. Now, Bridget. Yeah. Bridget. Yeah. You need to move out.
We need 6, right?
Okay, we need 6. We got. Well, that's fine. We got 5. I don't care. It's whatever they want to do. In fact, you can go to the rear. Okay. So now let's begin a little bit. Now, when we get to the grave, I want you to hold the flag with your left hand so that you can salute with your right. Okay. So we're going to face it that way. Now we're going to ask all of you to exit. Please go to the grave. Arthur, you need to. And when we guide in, Matt, just That goes over, he's laying at the ground, goes over the left heart. You didn't know there was gonna be a funeral detail, did you? Could y'all leave us a space on the south end of the grave so that we can guide on in? You're in charge of that. You don't want to be a part of it, brother? Yeah, I'll it. Okay. I want you to walk with me. I want you to walk beside me. And I want you to be part of it too. No, we're just gonna, I'm sure you all remember, funeral detail temple. It's not gonna be that far. We got bagpipes. We're gonna go over to the grave. Bagpipes are gonna stop. Then what we'll do is taps will begin. I'll have you face inward. Present arm. Order arm. I do that right. When we start the fold of the flag, I'll start it down there, and Matt will be on this end. Okay?
You want to come over here and talk?
We're gonna carry it out like.
Yeah, we're going to carry it out. We're going right over the grave. So carry with your right hand, and when I have you face inward, you're going to hold it with your left hand. Okay? So let's walk out there, just kind of a right step. Yeah, I want y'all walking with me.
Yeah, we are.
Regrab it when we get out there.
Go ahead, hurry up. I want you to lay it on the grave ahead of us. Okay? Y'all need to hurry up. Quick time. Move out. Go hit your. All right, go ahead and spread it out. Stop right there. Let's wait for that. Oh, wait, Bridget's playing this way. Are you cute? Are you cute? Come on, get ahead of us, kids. So you're gonna walk right ahead of us, and when you get to the grave, I want you to lay that on the grave. Come on, get up here. Get up here with me. Come on. Yeah, don't ever point a weapon. Good. All right, quiet, please. General. Good job. Okay. Back by it. Slowly. Forward. March. Face inward. Come over, brother. Face inward. Grab it with your left hand.
Ready? Taps. In slow, military fashion. Present arms. In slow, military fashion. Order! Arms! Ranger Matt. Follow my lead. 125. Down in the middle, straighten out that curve. Turn tuck. Carly, come here. Take it firmly. Come on, top and bottom. Firmly. Follow me. Sir, on behalf of the President of the United States and the grateful nation, I present to you this 24-star Old Glory flag based on the service of your ancestor, Private Robert William Hayes, 42nd Alabama, Captain Johnson's 3rd Militia, Seminole War. Veterans, present arms! Order! Arms! That way. Lead us out, Matt.
Good job. Forward, march.
And that, folks, is the way that it's done. So now let's go eat.